Hey folks, it's time for yet another custom lesson. This one has been requested by Burgerro. Hi, it's Burgerro from Twitch. Surely you won't butcher my name at this point. I hope I didn't. Custom lesson request is as follows. Dual swords with Odachi, Guardian Spirits, Ho-Oh, and then the secondary I'm free to pick what I'd like. The cores on Ho-Oh will be Gozuki, Fuki, Onyudo, and then I can decide the three from there. So I'm running, enemies, a challenging scroll with humans and yokai. You'll see what I pick later. Or you probably have seen it by the thumbnail by now. So I'm running a purity theme and have those three cores I mentioned in Ho-Oh, but as you can already tell, those cores are harder to use against humans, and I'm looking for a secondary guardian spirit, preferably brute, with a set of cores to help me against humans. I know I already asked questions in your streams, but wanted to see a recommendation for my loadout, and I'm more than happy to help you, man. Thanks for being a regular on my Twitch streams. It's been a lot of fun. So let's go with the first. I'm going to talk about the weapons. So I'm using Purity Demon Horde weapons. They don't have Life Drain active skill, which again would have been really nice, but I just didn't have them. So you can just see what I'm running. And again, the purpose of the Demon Horde weapons is just so that I can take advantage of Anima bonus on grapple. This is not necessarily a requirement, but it just makes things easier for me since I'm always in the habit of getting grapples, which I highly recommend in one way or another. But let's get on to the Guardian Spirit talk. So Ho-Oh, we have the following cores. Won't spend too much time on them. I didn't bother ranking this up because I wasn't too interested in the charge attack boost or the attack yokai shift. All I cared about, truth be told, was yokai ability, key pulse. Everything else is just purely coincidence. Fuki, this one I had boosted its rank because I was messing around with Anima bonus inflict ailment. Again, not really a requirement whatsoever. Again, yokai ability, key pulse. So boosting these cores up is optional. Amongst the three, I would say boost Onyudo, Anima bonus elemental attack. So if you happen to do fire, water, or lightning damage as well, like with your weapons and whatnot, if you use an Oni-B, then this can be very valuable. But again, I didn't because I pretty much just stuck with Purity the whole time. But other than that, again, like I said, yokai ability, key pulse, which I have on all three of these cores, so really just get whatever stats you feel are necessary. Now let's get onto the secondary guardian spirit. Ho makes a return. I ultimately didn't really want to conflict with the purity-based theme. You may see the soul cores, and of course now you're kind of like, hey, I thought you said all purity, so what's going on? Now, I pretty much just assumed that the player is just going to stick with purity weapons the whole time, so I pretty much only wanted other elements to be optional. That was one of those situations. Of course, you can change these things out as you see fit. There's a lot of attunement to mess around with, but I was really thinking of anti-human cores. That was basically it. So first I went with Dweller. Dweller's pretty handy. It also has an Anima bonus on grapple, which is one of the reasons you don't need the Demon Horde weapons. It's just extra luxury. You just get like 1.3 extra Anima per grapple with Dweller as it is, which is great. But Dweller, if I just show this real quick, just keep in mind, you put this on a human, and as you can see with this little video, you can keep them kind of pressured there. Just keep them there a little longer to help you set up your combo chains, and I'll show how that works. Next, we have Ancient Nyotengu. So many opponents, specifically like Saito Toshimitsu, block all the time. Ancient Nyotengu is going to absolutely punish that, and you'll see that in the gameplay footage. When Nyotengu works, it is crazy against blocking opponents, which I'm assuming the player's having difficulty with. So absolutely, without a doubt, there's this. I didn't go for Ippon. I know Ippon's very popular, but Ippon is more effective, in my opinion, against yokai than it is against humans. Nyotengu, for the same anima cost, it's ridiculous. And you can act freely, which is great. When it comes to soul core stats, it's literally just brute, ancient Nyotengu. You happen to get any cool effects, go for it, but I didn't bother. And then last but not least, we have Oboroguruma. So this is contrary to the purity theme. So this is very much an anti-human core altogether. It's a good one. So I was thinking of other cores such as, say, Bakegani, which is pretty helpful, but I figured Oboroguruma, the cart, is really effective against humans because it's corruption, which is nice to have, but even more than that, its break and key damage is quite remarkable, and for 4 anima, it's pretty handy. And the grab avoidance that it has makes it a pretty good choice, so it's definitely quite powerful. But let me showcase all this stuff in action quickly. so we can get on to the main showcase. So let me show you what Yokai Shift is like against this. Just things, rotations that you can kind of work with. I might also show you something kind of fun when it comes to pressuring humans. I'm sure you'll enjoy it when you see it. Just kind of like something neat that I found. Alright, so how do I open with Ho-Oh? Boom. Assuming the Gozuki dodge didn't happen. So yeah, that can be really effective. Now where do I fit in Onyudo? Onyudo is one of those things either I'm going to use when I feel completely safe. You can use it as an opener, but again, the tracking for Onyudo can be problematic. So I usually just open safely up with Gozuki and it can be quite dirty. And you've got plenty of ranged elements to really facilitate the power of this. Now things get a little interesting when I switch over to Brute, alright? Well, I'm probably gonna have to kill this guy first. Things get a little interesting with Brute. Ancient Nyotengu is definitely gonna be the awesome thing to pair. So I would send out Ancient Nyotengu first. If you want to use card, you can, but again, it conflicts quite heavily with Purity, so you just gotta be wary. So yeah, it's a little weird, I'm not gonna lie, but it's definitely kind of interesting. And if you're not able to use Purity, at the very least, you've got power plays like this, which can certainly be a lot of fun. So yeah, definitely try that on out. But yeah, Yokai Shift, I specifically tried to avoid using Yokai Shift too much, simply because if I understand this correctly, Burgerro, you are more of a traditional weapon-based player, which is totally fine. So I figured that you wouldn't want to rely on Yokai Shift for humans, since it's a little more difficult. I figured you want to rely on other things. So speaking of things that will be kind of fun, I'm actually going to put damage numbers on, just so you can see this, because this is kind of silly. Okay, so I'm going to show you something you can do with Fuki. This doesn't necessarily work against all human bosses or anything like that, but it can be very valuable. So 2600 damage, right? Okay, let's try it again. That's our baseline, so nothing too crazy. But here's something you can do. If an enemy is low on ki, right? Ah, that didn't work. If an enemy is low on ki, what you can do is, if you send them reeling back with abilities like Retrograde Flow or Punish the Proud. Alright, come on. This should work. You can do damage like that, 34,000 damage. It seems to hit the critical, it seems to do a headshot, which is pretty ridiculous. Let me get Punish the Proud to illustrate this. I've tested this on dojo bosses. It can work from time to time, but it's not the most reliable. So at the very least with basic humans, it'll be fun. Punish the Proud is almost a guarantee though. Almost. On normal humans. Ah! It's not bad, but yeah, it can work, and it's hilarious when it does. Dude, is that because of an incline thing? Let's try it again. Okay, one more time. Dude, for real? Well, it was working quite handily yesterday. But yeah, sometimes you can get it to work. I guess this shows you that it's not always a foolproof thing, but there is a moment to use Fuki pretty handily in your weapon-based combos. But now, let's just show you some things that you can do to mess with humans, and kind of the rotation, using the anti-human cores. So, card on its own is going to be great. It's really effective when humans are blocking. There's also Niotengu, which you'll definitely want to use. And I think as you've seen in my streams, I tend to use the Sign of the Cross into Odachi Flash Attack quite frequently. The Odachi Flash Attack is so good in general, and it's particularly effective against blocking opponents. Which, again, I'm guessing is your difficulty. But yeah, here's some combos. Pretty neat. Also, here's something kind of cool. Got some good old Gozuki action. Quite effective on the block, right? Let me turn damage numbers off. It's throwing me off quite a bit. Okay. Showcase some more things just to give you ideas. It can be remarkably effective. So yeah, still pretty good. So I'll show the whole package against these guys. Showing you that all these cores are still valuable irrespective of who you're fighting. Very nice. I'm a big fan of Nyotengu personally. See, Yoki can't even handle this. Can you imagine a human dealing with it? I was gonna use that to do some zero key pressure. Okay, and then on a human. That didn't work as well as I had hoped. Pretty neat, huh? There's a lot of setup stuff that you can do, which is why I picked Ancient Niotengu and Dweller. I was originally going to go with Fox Core, but I think it wouldn't work as well as, say, Cart. That's just my opinion, though. But really, it was just because I didn't want the secondary element. Isn't that nice? But yeah, alright, I'll do this. I'll do a full kind of thing, maybe one more time. For real? Alright, reasonable enough. And then one more time against Aoki, and then we'll call it here. Gozuki is definitely going to be your friend. Okay, I guess not. Oh, I guess there's one thing I could show you. One more thing. Against the human. Kind of a fun engage. Kind of, anyway. Nah, come on. Let me do it, dude. Not too shabby. So you can do like random slice, get close to your target, Gozuki even further. Or I've done this. I've done random slice and then Onyudo, if you're feeling comfortable. And that can be pretty effective. Let's do one more thing. Alright. Oh, damn it. Alright. I'm gonna try to do it without talking about it. Okay, for real. I'm not used to playing with purity weapons or blessed weapons. Attack me, dude. I was trying to do Winter Winds into a flash attack. Come on. One more time. I'll try once more. There we go. Glorious. But yeah, hopefully that gives you some food for thought as to what's going to work with this setup. It's definitely very interesting. Now, the scroll is even more interesting, so I'll just leave it at that. And let's get on to the gameplay showcase. I'll see you guys momentarily. So this time I went a little crazy on the scroll choice. So I did in fact pick Yoshitsune, and I know I'm playing Yoshitsune, so Pure Boy versus Angry Yokai Boy, I don't know. But I actually wanted to showcase how to use this setup in situations in which it wouldn't really work too well. And so I do later fight a purple Raiko, and she's basically immune to purity. So being a human opponent, I figured that it would be the perfect example for me to showcase how to use this setup well. Mine is getting stabbed by Yoshitsune there. Yoshitsune itself is a fairly difficult enemy in terms of just raw speed. You can't inflict confusion against him, so you kind of have to understand his mechanics. I'm still getting used to using purity weapons. Dual Swords Odachi is ultimately not my forte, and so yeah, I'm just trying to get better at it. Fortunately, abilities like Ground Quake are able to deal with a significant portion of his ki when he's on those lanterns. Gozuki also does that pretty handily too, but that requires 8 anima, whereas Ground Quake is just, Ground Quake, a little bit of ki, not too bad. But yeah, I'm honestly really not that used to Dual Swords Odachi. It's kind of like one of those combos that I used to work with, but not so much now. So you will see me struggle a little bit for some time, but eventually I kind of get used to it. And for the time being, Yoshitsune at the very least is over 50% dead, which is a plus. So good job, Yoshitsune that I am, for killing your evil self, I guess. This is your way of getting redemption, right? Alright, the dumb jokes are over. For some time. But alright, let's just deplete his ki. Use Onyudo. This is probably the worst use of it. I should have planned it. Make sure when you're using Onyudo, I would advise using it when they're very low on ki, so that you can almost guarantee that they will actually get all the hits to connect. But on the plus side, he's dead, so I guess that's that. In any case, now we're dealing with purple Raiko, so this is going to be very difficult. Very tanky enemy because she's purple, and I'm not too good with these weapons. So let's just get to it. So you can see I'm still struggling at this present point in time to developing the momentum. Fortunately, using the cart helped save me from that grab, which is one of the reasons why I picked it, is because you can usually avoid many grabs with it, despite its commitment in terms of animation time. There's a lot of tools that I use for pressure when dealing with humans. I'm not doing a good job right now, but I'll get to that once I can maintain that rhythm, which I've talked about as being so essential, and so that I can control the pace of attacks. Look how much ki damage I did with Ancient Niotengu, but still I haven't really hit that sweet spot of really understanding what she's going to do and how she's going to do it and how I can respond. When you get that combat flow, it feels pretty good, and I just need to start getting that edge on, which I'm sure many of you guys understand when it's like, yeah, I'm just in the zone and I kind of know how things are going to work. Here's an example of things working in my favor. If you didn't know, you can actually parry some of her Soyamaru moves. Just because she has it out doesn't necessarily mean that she is immune to parries. There's many moments in which you can parry her, but there's a lot of things to consider. But in any case, I'm getting better. Dweller did some work there. And then, yeah, you'll see me use good old dual sword pressure, gotta win into Odachi flash attack very frequently, crashing waves whenever she's blocking. As a reminder, Odachi is superb at breaking guards. Ancient Niotengu doing a good amount of work. Look at all that ki gone. I can nullify that curse. I've already taken out a third of her health, so this is overall going okay. I'm doing quick hits here and there. And yeah, it's going okay. But of course, the main stress is going to be when she is in living weapon form, when a lot of these things aren't going to work as well. But for now, I can abuse the fact that she is blocking and set all sorts of things up. Look at that. Her ki is basically gone. I prevented her from doing her grapple. And that is sick. Oh boy, watch out for that. And what's next? Cart? Cart was okay. Ancient Nyotengu would have been better there. So just, again, in case you want to know what's the difference between Cart and Ancient Nyotengu, is that Nyotengu in general does much more break damage, but it doesn't inflict corruption, which is not that big of a deal against a target like this. Nyotengu is just so damn good anyway. And then let's get some anima. I do have purity on me, so things are really looking kind of grim, because if she hits me at all, I'm going to take a lot of key damage. And I'm at B toughness, okay? This isn't a tanky setup whatsoever. You guys know where I'm at. And now I'm dealing with the most threatening aspect of this fight, which is her living weapon form. It's crazy. Permanent, pretty much hyper armor the entire time, and non-stop attack chains. I have not had any success in pairing any of these moves either, so I basically have to understand her entire move set and be on the lookout for it. So I'm doing very safe things, or trying to anyway, to get her out of it. And I got a little lucky there, and now I've nullified the curse. But yeah, it's very challenging, so you really gotta spend some time there. Gotta win, really useful move. My turn, my Yokai Shift, let's go. So Yokai Shift does a lot of damage. So, again, she's resistant to purity, so this is like the one time I can inflict purity, and then I'm able to use Gozuki reasonably well. And then I realize I'm going to run out of Yokai Shift, so I just throw out Gozuki once again. I could have probably gone away with Onyudo, but I did not. Oh boy, dodge! Okay. Whew! I'm okay. Oh boy, another one. When I've tested the scroll before, the grab is basically instant kill, so I can't mess that up at all. There's no wiggle room. Fortunately, she doesn't have much wiggle room either. And let's go. Dweller, do Dweller things. Thank you for that brief interrupt. That helped me out quite a bit. And, I'm just going to breathe on you. Yeah, there you go, you're dead. So it worked out. It wasn't necessarily the cleanest, but it worked out. And I'm just kind of like, I don't know how to process this information. So, yeah. In any case, hopefully that was instructive. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.